Guys, it's been one of those mornings. I've shot a couple videos several times. A lot of reshooting done today. So I'm gonna eat some freeze-dried astronaut ice cream, and then we're gonna talk about this, the artisan mastiff. Hang on, because you're in for a treat. I'm gonna have my treat right now. If you're watching on headphones, turn on the volume. Here comes the music. Guys, I held off on doing an actual video about this knife for a week or so because I just wanted to make sure. Well, actually, I've had it longer than that. I've had it for almost a month now. I held off on doing this because I was afraid it was just an infatuation thing, that I had found something cool and it was a cool factor and that it would wear off. And so I wanted to give it an honest review. So I carried it a lot and I was trying to see if there was any real issues that I found with the knife. So this is the Artisan Mastiff. Now, this is a knife that did not get a lot of publicity. It never got popularized. It never got out in the world. It is still available, and it is a rather large flipper with a cleaver style blade, Warrenclyffe style blade. I used this in the video I did about the sheepdog as a comparison, size comparison. I will tell you that I am having a hard time finding bad things about this knife. It's just pretty good. So let's go ahead and we will turn this around and we'll look at it. I'm trying to stay objective about it because it does have a lot of cool factors to it. So being objective, and we're going to take a look at it. And so we'll get some specs, we'll get some weights and things like that. This is a beefy knife, right up there with the jumbo that I shot earlier. So let's go ahead, take a good look at it. I'll meet you guys at the counter. All right, let's take a good look at this. Now, if you are one of the paying members, you already got a first impressions video about this knife. So I have to admit that this knife, the second I pulled it out of the box that Russell had sent me, immediately made my eyes light up. It made me happy. I have been a fan of some of these cleavers for a while. I really liked some of the Tack butchers and some of the other cleavers that came out, but a lot of times they were uncomfortable in hand. The sheepdog that I shot earlier, a little bit smaller than this, every bit as comfortable. Sorry about that, guys. My phone rang. So what I was saying was that the sheepdog from Kaiser is almost as comfortable as this. I'm trying to get this cleaned up because the finish on the blade is one of my favorite things. So let's take a look at it before we get into some specs. We'll take a quick look. It is titanium scales with carbon fiber overlay or onlay or whatever, insert, whatever you want to call it. The titanium is done almost a glass bead blast that is done really well. It's really attractive. Steel lock bar insert. The pocket clip is done really well. And then the blade finish, I keep touching it. I apologize. What I wanted to show you is this is done in a burger grind satin, which I really like the finish on this blade. And then it's done, so it's satin and satin basically. And then this big fuller here has been blasted. So what I imagine they do is they blast it, then they grind it, and then they do all that other stuff. Jimping on it, jimping is just there. It is pretty much there for show. But this knife is large enough, you really don't need it. You get enough purchase everywhere else. It is an attractive knife. Handles are really comfortable. I find the handles to be really similar in hand to a knife that is a Benchmade that I liked, which is the Crooked River. In hand, that handle feels really similar, and that's one of the things that I noted on that knife, specifically as a Benchmade not being my favorite thing, but as a Benchmade, the handles on it were really nice. Sculpted pivot collars on both sides. This is a single-sided pivot. It only unscrews from one side. And so yeah, let's get into some specs on this. I wanted to do this first because I imagine this is going to be fun. This is a heavy knife, but I couldn't find anywhere online that laid out the weight. Now, I've heard people say it's 7 ounces. I saw a couple other reviewers say it was 7 ounces. We're going to pull it up. Is it going to be in ounces or grams? I did it in grams last time. So for you guys that don't use Freedom units, let's do grams first. 199 grams. That's up there. That's up there. So let's go ahead and look at it in ounces. 7 ounces. Well, that's the website I saw say. 7 ounces. Not a light knife at all, even when you consider the fact that much of the titanium has been removed and replaced with carbon fiber. So let's get that out of the way. Look at the specs. So like I said, S35 VN blade. Overall length is 8.45 inches. It's not a small knife. This is a rather large knife. Blade length is 3.54 inches. So just a little over 3.5 inches on this. Closed, it is 4.92 inches. And I'm not gonna lie, it takes up a lot of pocket space, but it carries comfortably. Blade thickness on this. This is done in a blade stock of 0.125. And it's available, this knife is available in a range of colors. I've seen them in black, I've seen them in blue, I've seen green, and then you have this, which is just the gray. The black is really attractive. So MSRP on this is $383. I've seen it online as low as, if you can find it anywhere but Artisan, as low as $212, but as high as $280. I do know that they are basically at MSRP on Artisan site, but right now that's the only place where you can reliably get one. White Mountain Knives, I think, is sold out. Most of the places where I would look for this knife, it is out of stock. So, but like I said, in hand, this knife is super, super comfortable. I've been carrying this a lot simply because I do like these sheepfoot Wharncliffe style blades. I like the cleavers, and this has got a really, really unique profile. That is a very, calling it the Mastiff was a very good name. It has a very aggressive, large, animalistic look to it, and I love it. And I can't tell you guys, the action on this is hazardously smooth. As you can see, this came to me brand new, and I have carried it and scratched it up. The only thing I wish that the logo was a little bit smaller. And let me explain something about this logo. So those are the guys that, oh, it looks like the Nazi logo, this and that. That is actually a simplified version of the character for human. So before everybody gets into that, that doesn't look like it. That looks anything. It looks more like the New York logo right there to me, or a H and a U on this side. So action on this, super, super good. Flips easily. It carries surprisingly well for as large as it is. And the pocket clip is just, it's another one of those pocket clips, like I said about the pocket clip on the Kaiser Sheepdog. It winds up being extremely comfortable. I am a fan of this style pocket clip. Not too wide, just the right amount of tension, and then it ramps down here where it would be in my hand. That screw standing up does not at all make it uncomfortable. It's not a hotspot. As a matter of fact, I have not found a hotspot on this knife. I will say I wish that forward choil was a little bit larger. For me, I'm not able to use it because if you look, I will cut myself. I am not able to get into that choil fully. But like I said, hardware is all relatively smooth, and I do like a full backspacer that's done well like this. And if you look, the backspacer encompasses and completely encloses your lanyard hole. So if you choose to carry this knife with a lanyard, you can actually not worry at all about the blade hitting the lanyard. And if some of the knives, they have a lanyard tube and it strikes up against, I'm not a fan of the lanyard tubes. I'm generally not a fan of lanyards or lanyard holes, but if you're going to do it, I prefer it to be this way where I don't have to see the lanyard tube and stuff like that standing off. Contours and stuff, everything on this is comfortable. This is probably one of the most comfortable large knives I've had come in for a while. So we've looked at it enough. We've pontificated about it enough. Let's go ahead. I love that finish on that blade. I like a burger grinder finish. It's one of the things that I like about the Arian. that my friend Chris designed was that burger grinder finish. Like I said, I know that a lot of people don't like logos. The logo on this is relatively large. There's a good chance that this knife is probably not going back to Russell. He told me, like, if you like it that much, you can just keep it. This is probably going to wind up in my personal collection. Even to the point where you can see the carbon fiber on this was done well. And a lot of companies don't do carbon fiber real well. I think if this had been any more polished, this would not feel the same in hand. This would feel slippery. It's done to a point where you still get the opalescence. You can see the multiple layers of the weave, but it's not done in a fashion where it's slippery or too polished. And if you like it polished, you can always do that on your own. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn this around and finish talking about it. Guys, I'm just gonna finish this up. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my wife is getting ready for work. I forgot to give you guys a size comparison. So this knife, size-wise, I meant to do this earlier. Let's look at this real quick. This knife is bigger, a good bit bigger than a Spencer 21. It's a large knife, not a small knife. But like I said, surprisingly easy to carry. I really do like this knife. I wish it was more readily available. I saw a few sites that have them. I think White Mountain Knives had a couple, but it looks like they're sold out. There's a couple places where you can still find them. If you are interested in getting this knife, I would say your best bet is to go to Artisan Cutlery, where they have them in stock. So the other thing, it does have that fuller. You can finger flick this knife. Even as large as it is, you can flick that middle finger, flick that knife off of that fuller. It's deep enough you can get purchase on it. And like I said, just an all-around attractive knife. Probably one of my favorite knives that has come in this year. I think this really does top a lot of the knives that have come in this year, right up there with the Rhea. And so there's a good chance I'm gonna do a video of knives that I have had come in this year that I think are really, really good knives for their value. I've got, like I said, gotten more into the budget line of knives. Even at $280, this knife is not as pricey as a lot of other knives that are out there. So in comparison, if you find this the right place, $212 you can find it. That's not putting you too far out of the realm of something that's much less useful that is still laying around here somewhere, which is that Spyderco Yo Jumbo that I just filmed a video about. I think, like, in a comparable price point, this is a much more useful knife. The S35VN on this is done really well as well. So guys, rainbow on a burger grinder finish is great. Guys, I'm going to put some links in the corners to stuff. Lindy Lou has started a channel. I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I really would like to see her get more subscribers. She's really cool. She does a lot of neat stuff. She does some really, really cool anodizing and knife modifications. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, and for you know, just the change in comparison to how women look at knives versus men look at knives, I think it's kind of a cool comparison. There's only a couple of knife YouTubers out there that are females. So that being said, guys, if you like them, give them a thumbs up. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. And if you really like the video, there's an applause option where you donate money. It goes directly to the channel. If you really want to support the channel, you can always use the membership tab below. It gets you in on some free offers, free stuff, and so things like that. I do exclusive giveaways and exclusive content for paying members. So love you all, guys. Like I said, check out the corners, and I'll see you in the next video.